welcome to Rock Your Faith Out. I am Michael Cadry, and boy, I'm really happy to be joined today by the singer of Ignescent, the beautiful and talented Jennifer Benson. Hi, Jennifer. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you taking the time to join us. And, boy, I think that you have a good fan following. And this show's is picking up steam on followers. So I think it's really good to introduce you to some people who maybe don't know your story, maybe don't know that much about you, and also to help your audience, help your fans. Maybe they know your story, maybe they don't. But I wanted to give you an avenue to kind of do a deep dive into your faith, and let's explore some areas where maybe, who knows, might just inspire people as they're listening to your story. So usually I like to do a deep dive going back to the beginning. And so let's start from the beginning. How were you raised? Well, first of all, where did you grow up? What area of the country did you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up in the Chicago area, so the northwest suburbs of Illinois.
Okay. And were you raised in a Christian household, or was it, did you come to your faith through your family, or was it later on? How did that come about?
Yeah, I actually was raised Catholic, so I didn't become a Christian until I was 15. A friend invited me to Campus Life, and so I heard the gospel there, and then my sister became a Christian, and so at the same time, she invited me to church, and so just over time, hanging out with Christians and hearing the gospel. So when I was 15, I decided to give my life to Jesus, and so that's kind of how it happened.
And you said it was your friend that mainly inspired you to do that? Was it a school friend? Was it a neighborhood friend, or both?
Yeah, it was actually a friend. She recently moved from California to Illinois, and we met in class and started talking. And then she invited me to a group called Campus Life. So yeah, it was her, and then a little bit my sister too. So yeah, that's kind of how it all started.
And how about your parents growing up? Did they? I know you said you grew up Catholic. But was it just like attend church periodically every Sunday? Did you go to a Catholic school? How were they instilling the faith at home? Did they do any of that?
Well, as far as church, we went like once or twice a year on Easter and Christmas. So we didn't really talk about faith or religion that much. I did go to Catholic school though, from first grade to eighth grade. And I'm sorry, but I hated it. I did not like it at all. So then when high school came, I said, Mom, I'm not going to Catholic high school. No, I'm going to public school. But fortunately, that's actually, where I met my friend from California that moved there at the public high school. And so she's the one who, started talking to me about Jesus. So obviously God had a plan there, but but really we just kind of went to church once or twice a year.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up going to a Catholic school as well, first through sixth grade, and then I think my mother had a falling out with the school, so we switched over to the public school system and stuff like that. So, nice. And I know what you're talking about there. Yeah. And so, you were how old when you started going to church with your friend? You were a teenager, right?
Yeah, I was 15. Mm-hmm. Okay,
and so did you when you started doing that, did you grasp it right away, or were you just intrigued? We're like, hey, this is, I kind of like what I'm hearing, or was it did something unlock with you when you started going to church on a more regular basis?
Yeah. It was a little bit over time, but it was pretty quick. And I'm like, I really, want to give my life to Jesus. And so it was, pretty simple, and I did, but it was after that, my life drastically changed. And it was, I know some people have this experience and some don't, maybe some that grew up in a Christian home, I heard don't, but it was like scales fell off my eyes. It was, it was a big change. Like I saw everything different. So it was a huge change. And then right after that, is when I started, evangelizing and singing. So that's when like God pretty quickly, gave me the gift of evangelism and music. And I started, like we had, different programs, I guess, or talent contests at high school. And so people would do dancing and singing and all that. And so instead, I would sing because I started taking vocal lessons and singing, but I would share the gospel there. And I guess I didn't really think of it. Like I just kind of felt called to do it and just started doing it. But I did have people over it be like, no, Jennifer, you shouldn't do that. You're not supposed to talk about those things at the talent show. But, so that's kind of how my journey started.
So your first introduction to music was doing Christian music or doing gospel music, or what was it?
Yeah, pretty much. Because before I became a Christian, I was really into dancing. I took jazz and ballet and all that. But once I became a Christian, I went to different conferences and all that, and I won some music to listen to. And so I started listening to like a lot of different Christian music and everything, and being introduced to that at the youth conferences and all that. And I fell in love with it, and so I started singing those songs because I really love them. So, and
at what point in time? I mean, and this is a journey with a lot of people in rock and metal Christian bands. There's sometimes I've seen it both ways. Sometimes there's an early on influence, and sometimes there's just a drastic change. So, at what point in time in your life did like the heavy stuff start clicking with you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, when I was a teenager, I liked, like some metal music, and I was influenced by certain bands. And I also love pop music too, like equally as much. And so when I first started writing songs, it was more very poppy, like, like very slow and just kind of pop music. And then someone's like, you really, because I started singing at different places, but just with a track. And someone's like, you really need a band. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I probably should get a band together. That makes sense. So then I did, and I'm from the Chicago area. So metal is huge here. And I start, I like did auditions and all this. And I found out most musicians here play metal. and though I love it, it wasn't my first plan, you know what I mean? Right. But I started getting influenced by them. Like I used to hate double bass. I used to hate like 8-string and 7-string. Like I don't know why, but I couldn't stand it. And I like the poppy stuff. And then they started introducing this stuff to me, the people I was playing with, and saying, hey, listen to this and listen to this. And then I became like obsessed with it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this. I don't know why. I just all of a sudden, before I didn't, but I just started listening to it and just kind of just fell in love with it, just with the double bass and like the heaviness. It was just so cool. And then, Evanescence, I love her. And I'm like, wow. And I love like melodies and, and all of that. And I thought mixing this together and making it even heavier than, maybe like Evanescence, that could be kind of cool. And, so then I started doing that. I'm like, let's try this. Let's do some double bass. Let's, and the one guy's, one musician, he's like, I have 7-string. Let's start writing with 7-string. And then he's like, oh, I bought an 8-string. Let's start writing with 8-string. I'm like, yes, this is awesome.
You thought you hated.
yes. Isn't that crazy? But again, I'm in Chicago and we're a metal community. And,
Right.
Yeah, right. And so, and once we started writing these songs together, I thought it was just a cool combination. And I just really loved it. And then I found I loved performing rock and metal more. It was just more fun than just kind of standing there singing pop music. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like, this is fun.
And how'd that go over with the parents when you started doing that?
My parents, they're fine. Like they didn't really care, honestly. They're just like, whatever makes you happy, they're fine. So thankfully, you're okay with that.
Right. You never know. If they're old school, they're like, oh, I don't want that heavy metal stuff. That's the devil's music, whatever.
Right. No, they're not like that. But yeah, thankfully.
Okay. Good. Okay. So how does that transpire then into the Christian metal, or were you starting to, like, did you hook up with some like Christian rock artists there, or did you seek it out? Like, how did that partnership happen?
Yeah, well, I mean, at first I just started, I mean, there's not really any Christian artists here in Chicago.
Right.
But so, yeah, I just started playing at bars, and I talked about God, there too. And I still do at clubs. And so I didn't really know what to do. So, yeah. And because of the heaviness, sometimes it's hard to get churches to have you because it's so heavy. And yeah, so I tried to seek out churches, but none of the churches at first wanted me. So I submitted and started booking at bars, and they wanted me. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is what I'm supposed to do. So I just started that way.
Right.
But then over time, with the internet, obviously there's ways to connect with people. And so I started to connect with different people, and I reached out to Josiah of Disciple, and I said, do you want to co-write a song together? And he said yes. So I went to Nashville, and we co-wrote this song together, and he put like a rough demo together. And at first I wasn't sure like if I was going to record it or what I was going to do with it. But when I heard it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to record this. We have to do this song. And so we ended up recording it. And then I asked, Kevin Young if he would be on it, and he said yes. And then I asked him if he would be on the music video too, and he said yes. I'm like, yes, this is awesome.
Oh, it's all falling into place.
Yes. I'm like huge fans of Disciple. They're awesome. So so that was really cool. And then
Josiah's been on the show here before. He was on a few months back.
Oh, nice.
You couldn't have hooked up with a greater bunch of guys if that's getting trying to launch your career doing Christian hard rock there. That's great.
Yeah, they're great people too. And so that was really cool. And so that was the first single that Frontiers released, which was really cool too, because I didn't know they're not a Christian label, and but out of all the songs, they heard that one and they picked it out. So I thought that was really cool too. Yeah.
So that kickstarted your music career. Were you more solo at the time, or at what point in time did you start trying to put together Ignescent?
I was. I started doing auditions and everything, and then put the band together, and then we started writing songs, and kind of went from there. So
now, what kind of criteria was it to join the band? Did everybody have to be believers? Was it your faith first and then your talent second? Like what was the process to try to find the people to get into the band?
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good question. Because of some past experiences I've had, I have a heart for everyone. I have a heart for non-Christians. But I guess, because of past experiences, I want people who share the same faith as me, just because sometimes that can be a conflict, and the vision can be different. And it just seems to work better when we're all kind of on the same page. Right. So, but then they also, need to play well, obviously too, and perform well, and be able to travel. So it's not an easy thing to find that, especially in the Chicago area. So, I mean, some of them are not right from here, like some are a few hours away, because it's really hard to find all that right here, but they're great guys. So I'm thankful.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think that topic has come up. I interviewed John Cooper, and then just with Seth talking about that, how the Coopers basically, they know that people can play, so they kind of lead with, they want the right people in the band first. Then obviously, they know the people they're dealing with are very talented, so they prioritize it that way. And I think when you're playing Christian music, especially because and when you're first putting a band together, you could be with these people for 20 years. You don't know, you know what I mean?
Right.
So you be with them for 2 years. You just never know. So you want to make sure that that conflict, or that's not a roadblock or a stumbling block along the way. To have someone that just, you're starting to take off and they say, hey, I think we should just move on from this Christian stuff. Let's just, whatever. And I've heard of that in other bands happening. So that it just causes nothing but a problem. So I think you went about it the right way anyway. So
thanks.
So then take it to the next level. I mean, obviously in today's climate of, bands, it's just not the way it used to be back in, the 80s and 90s and stuff, where, people were getting signed left and right, and, multi-million-dollar contracts are being handed out, and you could get discovered in a club playing somewhere. And, this is a lot harder road for people to travel down, being in bands. And, so, which is why, people like Josiah, he tries to stay busy in as many projects outside of Disciple as possible. How did that work for you? And because you have to really, bust it trying to get the band going and getting the word out there and growing a fan base. But at the same time, you got to pay the bills.
Right, exactly.
So how did that work with you?
I mean, and also when you're starting, or sometimes at any point, you have to you have to wear multiple hats. So there's so much, the social media, the booking, the putting things together, the song, the record. I mean, there's just, to manage everything. It is a lot. And obviously wouldn't do it if I didn't feel called or love it, but definitely have to, work. Another job like accounting is something that I had to fall back on. I know I have crazy color hair, but I do accounting, which is kind of weird, I guess. But to help, to help fund things. There's travel costs, there's all this sorts of things, and so it's tough. It's tough, but so thankfully having those skills has helped, so I could kind of fund certain things that I needed, or to help the band take off more. So that is something that I've had to do, and but I am thankful that I have those skills, and without that I wouldn't have been able to push this band as far as it is right now. So
I mean, so you have a major uphill battle, and not just with the music, but being in Chicago, like you said. So you're trying to be a Christian heavy artist in a town that's not known for that.
No,
one would have to think that you really have to rely on God, and you'd go into deep prayer and discernment. So what was that like? Was there a moment where you were just felt like, God, I know you're leading me here, but I don't know that I can do this. Did that ever come about when you're in your prayers, just that struggle?
Yeah, constantly, especially in this area. I don't know in Tennessee or Nashville if it's a little different if you're living there, but living here, all I hear is, you should stop talking about God. Stop. Why do you keep doing that? Get away from the Christian stuff. It's constant, because in Chicago, they can't, I love people, but they kind of don't like Christians, honestly. It's very anti-Christian.
Get out of that town. Go somewhere else.
I know. My family's here, so yeah, we did for a little bit. We went to Tennessee, but then missed my family and I came back. But someday I might move back to Tennessee.
Right.
But yeah, so I have that, and then in the metal community, they don't really like Christians either. So I have like a lot going on, and I didn't know, like when I started this, I'm like, I had no idea what I was getting into, to be honest with you. But at some points, it's really exciting because I have the heart for evangelism and a heart for God. And so it's kind of exciting to be able to, witness to people that hate God or hate Christians or worship Satan. It's kind of like, I don't know. For some reason, God's wired me up that way that I get excited to witness to these kind of people. And I think if I didn't get rejected so much and go through so much betrayal and rejection, I wouldn't understand what other people are going through. If I just had done Caleb type music or worship music, I probably wouldn't understand the heartache and the rejection that others have been through, and financially, I've gone through so much. Every time we try to get ahead, it seems like something happens, and it's crazy. And then we lose all our money, and then God rescues us at the last minute. So it's like God is allowing a lot of things in my life.
Right.
I mean, yeah, and whether it's Satan doing these things, but He's allowing it, so that I can lean on Him and trust Him more. But I swear to you, every time something happens, it's literally the last second when I'm about to give up. He shows up. It's so crazy. It just happened again last month. But so yeah, I feel like this has really stretched my faith, and I have to rely on Him because there's so many crazy things that keep happening that, I would lose my mind if it weren't for God. And so I'm always on my knees. I'm like, God, I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm like, always on my, God, please help me because I'm going to lose it. So,
Right.
At Salvation Consulting, we help streamline and optimize your production process. We're here to enhance your project with expert guidance and creative, scalable solutions. We specialize in helping churches and ministries, independent filmmakers, podcast producers, or those looking to create the next great music video. Visualize, optimize, realize. Salvation Consulting.
Yeah, I think that you're not the only one that happens to, by the way. God seems to just, and I always question too. I'm like, well, you know you're going to do it anyways. Why do you need to wait to the last second? Just do it. I mean, you know you're going to do it. Just do it.
Yeah. I know, right?
Like I'm questioning God, like you're doing it wrong, or
right.
like I know more than you.
I get it.
So you keep pushing, and I got, obviously because you feel really led to be continuing down this path.
Yeah.
And do you find it? I'm saying this because I had on one of my earlier shows, I had Melody Christia from Liliac, the singer from Liliac, on the band. They're not a Christian band.
Oh yeah.
They're basically like a family. The whole band is like the family, and they're really good. And but she wants to do a solo project where she wants to do Christian metal.
Really?
And, so.
Cool.
Do you find what she's in for? Like, do you think that this is still a wide blue ocean for women to be doing Christian metal, or is the market pushing back on that? Because I think that I want to hear more. Like, like yourself and Lacey and just Magdalene Rose. There's just so many really solid women Christian singers out there that can really belt out the heavy stuff. I think we need more. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we need more. Definitely. That would be awesome. Like, have more Christian women metal artists. I think that would be just amazing. I think it is hard. I mean, I don't know everyone's experience, but for me, it's, I don't know. It seems to be harder. Like sometimes people like, oh, I don't know. She's a woman. She's got crazy color hair. Like, I don't know. Like, but other people are welcome to it. So it's just, it's just something that I found. I just have to really push and work really hard. I feel like maybe I have to work harder. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But she's going to have to work hard, and she's really going to have to push, but, it's worth it. And I personally love it. So.
Yeah, I guess I just was curious about how you felt the market was set up for that, and if you think that there's room for more, because I think there's room for, I don't know, me personally, I think there should be room for 10, 20 more.
Definitely.
Good women singers. So.
There's definitely room for more, because there's not a lot. So right. I think we need more, and I think there's room for more, definitely.
So trying to, I know you have a daughter. And I know you went through something really tough with her some years back, custody struggle. I know from maybe a lot of people in my audience don't know that story. Is that something too sensitive for you to talk about? Or do you mind talking about it? Because I really think that, and you can say whether how much your faith played into what you went through and coming out the other side. But do you mind talking about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I went through many custody battles, but the last one, I was like, I'm done. I can't do anymore. I'm exhausted. And I felt like God was telling me not to hire a lawyer. And I thought, no, that just seems kind of crazy. So I didn't listen to God, and I hired a lawyer. And he ended up being really, really kind of crazy, the guy I hired. And he didn't believe anything I said, and he wasn't helping me. And so I ended up firing him in court because of some of the things he said about me. It was just really bizarre. I won't go deep into it.
Was saying that?
Yeah, my attorney was just, he was just saying lies about me, and he was just saying kooky things. I don't know. It was weird. He working
for the other side secretly?
That's what it seemed like. I'm like, what is going on here? So,
that's crazy.
But yeah. So then I ended up firing him, and before that, the GAL, which is the child attorney, she recommended that my daughter, who was living with me this whole time, go live with her dad, and for no reason at all. So then I'm like, well, they seem like they're in cahoots too, because there's, she interviewed us and there's nothing bad going on. The whole thing was just insane. And so usually the judge listens to the GAL. So when I heard that recommendation, I lost it, because I thought I'm going to lose my daughter. Everyone thought it. Our whole family, we thought we lost. We thought it was over. And I was just devastated. I didn't know how I was going to get through it, but I just started asking literally everyone to pray, people I knew, of course, people at church, people on Facebook that I didn't know that I knew were Christians. I started messaging them. I just was like, whoever's going to pray for me or willing to, please pray for me. And so it was just, it was kind of a crazy thing, but so back to court. So we were at court, and my lawyer was saying crazy things, and so I fired him in court. And then so the judge said, okay, Jennifer, you have 24 hours to prepare a case and represent yourself and fight for your daughter in court. I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. So we went home, and we all prayed and he didn't sleep a wink that night. Went back to court, and my friend came with me and my husband, and we prayed again in that room before the court session. And I went in there, and so I was against a lawyer, and then me with no lawyer. I was the lawyer representing myself. And it was just an insane situation. But then God started putting words in my mouth that I wouldn't have known what to say. And it started going really well. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, this is kind of crazy. I felt fine and at peace and confident. And it was the Holy Spirit, and God was telling me what to say. And I've never experienced anything like that before. It was awesome. But crazy too. And so then the judge just said, okay, well, I'm going to, whatever, think about it, or whatever he said. I can't quite remember. But so, we went home, and then we went to court the next day. And the judge said, well, for some reason, this case just weighed really on my heart, where other cases haven't. And he just started going through the 17 points, and it was all in my favor. And then he said, Jennifer, you won the case. You get to keep your daughter. And it was just like, everyone was like, oh, thank God. Like, my in-laws were there, and they all thought I was going to lose. Everyone thought it was
thanks for having faith in me,
Yeah. Well, the odds were against me. And the judges,
obviously.
The judges in the court system in Illinois is very crooked too. Even this lawyer, I was getting a little bit of advice from. He was from my church. He thought I was going to lose too. And he's a Christian, and he knows how crooked it is in Illinois. So, so I won, and that was a total miracle, and it was crazy. But God showed up, and He did a miracle, and then I realized later it was because I think I was kind of struggling with my faith, and I asked God to strengthen my faith, and then that happened. So I believe that's what He did to strengthen my faith.
Well, yeah, God works in mysterious ways, as they say. Yeah. But because you don't often hear a lot of stories like that of the mother losing custody of the child, unless the mother's abusive or a drug addict or something is going on there where, the judge just sees it as a danger for the child. So when it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense why you would lose out on custody, and then you end up winning and getting custody, like me, I'm sitting there, I would put that together as, okay, that's the path God needed me to go down, what I mean, to strengthen my faith. Cause it's the old adage, I think it was from Evan Almighty, when Morgan Freeman was talking about, when I'm paraphrasing some things, but so when you need strength, does God give you strength, or does He give you circumstances in which to show your strength? When you pray to be brave, does God just make you brave, or does He give you circumstances to use your bravery? You know what I mean?
Right.
And in this instance here, it's like, did God just strengthen your faith, or did He give you a circumstance in which it would strengthen your faith as an end result? And you can clearly look back and see it as that.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Definitely. And then the other thing was, my ex-husband was a cop too, and he worked in that county court system as well. And so in the past, it was way before that, he kicked me out of my house, and he got a restraining order on me, even though I didn't do anything. And so I had that fear in my head that the judge listened to him because he's a cop. You know what I mean? And because he got away with it. He got away with it before. So that's kind of what our thought process too. He was going to get away with it again because he's a police officer, and he was in that court system. So yeah. But yeah, you're right. It's crazy. God gives us things to go through, and just to strengthen us. Yeah.
Well, thank God you did come out the other side in your favor, and God won the day with that.
Yeah.
And I do have a friend of mine in Chicago who said, back in the day, and who knows, it's probably still true today.
Yeah.
He said you could get a murder covered up for $20. It's so corrupt there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I would believe
all the judges are on the take and everything, and all the politicians are on the take, and it's just whoever has the most money wins. You know what I mean? They're the ones who can get away with whatever you want to get away with because everybody's bought and paid for.
True.
That's horrible. Yeah, you got to get out of that town.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and I hope I'm not being too invasive with this to talk about like the reasons you and your husband split to begin with. Was he a believer? We don't have to go into the gory details or anything like that, but was he also a believer?
Well, I mean, I got married really young, like I was 18. And I thought he was, because we met in the church worship team. And that was when I met him when I first became a Christian. So it took me a while to figure out what I guess a true Christian is, you know, how people live their lives. And I guess I wasn't discerning enough at that age to realize that. So I guess he said he was, but looking at his life, I would say I don't think so. It kind of, I don't know how else to answer that, but
or maybe he fell away,
or maybe he fell away. I don't know. Yeah, but
I mean, if you don't have a discussion with him about it or don't talk about it, you're just guessing at that point in time. So well, his words said he was a Christian, but his life didn't. I guess that's the best way to say it. But you know, I got married so young. Didn't walk the walk, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I was so young that I just wasn't discerning enough, unfortunately. Right. Yeah. So
in your endeavors with Ignescent, you've had, have you experienced some highs and lows there? Has it been like just something that just started off kind of small and is slowly building up bigger and bigger? What's been the journey like for there, and how has your faith played into carrying that along with the band?
Well, it definitely started off with just me kind of like doing everything, booking the band, trying to build it up on social media, that sort of thing, and just getting shows wherever I could, and then thankfully I was able to get with Frontiers Records, and they kind of helped, or they did help, skyrocket things more, and just being able to sign with them, and then helping me, market the band, and putting that kind of money into it, and then just different things like being able to work with Kevin Young, Disciple, and then I was able to connect with Billy Gray of Fozzy, and he was in some of the music videos and featured on some of the songs, and then I met someone who knew Jason Marino of Drowning Pool, and he was featured on one of our songs called Goodbye, and so it just over time, you keep meeting people, and then things keep building, and over time, so that's kind of how it's been.
And what's the prognosis for the future look like for you? Are you pretty excited about it, or is things? Are you considering doing other side projects? What's the future look like for you?
No, I want to keep going, keep building things. We actually have a new album through Frontiers Records that's coming out probably August or September. They haven't, I submitted everything to them, but they haven't told me the release date yet. So I'm assuming probably July, August, September it'll come out. And then we're shooting a music video this weekend in St. Louis, which I'm excited about. And I'm so excited. There's some people featured on some of these songs that I can't wait. I can't say who yet, but I just can't wait. I'm really, really excited about it. And in the music video, I'm so excited. In the songs, our last album I was really excited about. And I'm I don't think I'm going to be that excited about this next album. And then I started writing, and we started writing, and I started co-writing with people. I'm oh, wow, I'm really excited now. So awesome. I can't wait. And then we have shows coming up, a tour coming up, and we'll be at Rockfest again in Cadet, Wisconsin, and we'll be at Immortal Fest with Bride and Les Carlson in August, and we just have a lot coming up, and I can't wait.
Sounds like you're busy.
Yeah, very.
So what is that? I mean, I've heard too that Frontiers was kind of dumping a lot of Christian artists along the way. Have you gotten that sense that could be touch and go, or you're not trying to think about that? You're as long as we're with them and they're helping out, that's all I care about right now.
Yeah, I'm just happy that they wanted us for a second album, honestly, and that they're willing to do that for us. Like, I'm super, super grateful. There's not a lot of, I mean, it's not easy to get with a label. It's not easy to stay with a label. So, and it's been my dream. And I just thought, well, maybe we'll just do one album and that'll be it. But yeah, they wanted us for a second album, and so far they seem really excited about everything. And so I'm not worried. I don't know what the future holds, but right now I'm not worried. I'm really grateful for them, and I'm excited. So
awesome. And I know it seems like I'm bouncing around a little bit here, but just as things are coming to my mind, I was recalling what you said earlier. Did you say you had to go through another custody battle recently, or did you only have one custody battle?
Well, before that, there were two others. There was like three I went through. And so
you had three children, 3 kids?
No, it was with the same
girl.
Same girl. Yeah. It was just, it kept happening over and over and over. And so the last time I told God, I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. We got to end this. I can't.
Wow. Because I couldn't imagine. It's like every kid you have a custody. That's got to be even tougher. Like with the same. I mean, that's tough on her. We're crying. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's not the greatest way to grow up, but.
How old is she now?
She's a lot older now. She's older.
Is she like a teenager now, or?
Yeah. So she's she's a lot older.
Where is she at with her faith? Are you an inspiration to her, or has just because of everything that's gone on in her life, she's like, maybe not right now?
Yeah. Actually, that made me nervous, like what was going to happen. But I was very intentional with her. Like, we made sure, like, we prayed at dinner time. We made sure we read the Bible at dinner time or at night. So I just, at first when I became a parent, I'm like, I guess, we'll take her to church and they'll teach her. And then I started realizing, no, that's my responsibility. Right. And then, so that's when I kind of woke up to that, thankfully, when she was pretty young. I was super intentional, like constantly talking to her about God, and we, like serve the homeless together. We'd go down to the city, Wecker Drive, and serve homeless and do things like that. So, she could see those things and hopefully remember it, as she gets older. And I guess I would say I bit my tongue a lot. As she was growing up, even though I don't want to, but I just knew if we would constantly, I don't know. I just had the sense if I would constantly fight with her, it just wasn't going to go well. So I just kind of gave a lot of grace, bit my tongue a lot, just trying to really love her and share Christ. She is really strong in her faith right now. And so that is a huge blessing as a mother. I am grateful because I know a lot of people that, are struggling with their kids, and thankfully, with God's grace, she's really on fire for God, and she's talking to people about Jesus and evangelizing to them. So, wow, yeah, I'm
chip off the old block.
And she sings and she writes. So yeah.
Has she gotten any kind of music bug? Does she have talents for playing music or singing like you?
Yeah, she does. She released one song. I think it's called Friends. But she sings a lot. She likes more pop or worship style, not like the heavy. As far as her singing or her songwriting, she likes to write more, pop stuff. She's a great singer. We'll see what happens with her, but.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah. Does she ever like, Mom, turn it down. It's too loud. I can't take all the screaming.
No. She'll rock out and headbang. No.
yeah. Cause I grew up like trying to do that with my kids, and just, I was the guy headbanging in the car and stuff like that. And just like my kids, turn it down, Dad, it's too loud. I'm like,
really?
Where my kids become my parents. And I'm like, my grandparents. And like, when does a guy get to rock out? And like, if my music is too loud for my kids and it was too loud for my mother growing up, it's like, when do I get to rock out? Only this guy that's like 80 years old in the back of a car going, yeah.
Right.
You know, I mean, look like I'm spazzing out or something like that. I'm like, dang, I finally get to rock, you know? Oh man, that's fun. So, how often do you get to engage with fans when you're out there? Do you hang out and do like meet and greets and stuff like that?
Yeah. We're usually always at the table after a show, or else we're doing like VIP meet and greets before shows too for the upcoming tour. And so yeah, we usually always talk to fans, and I love meeting people and talking to people, and so we're always.
Do you have any standout stories from people in regards to your music that they might have told you about? I mean, a lot of times people don't like to talk about that, but other times people are like, I drove here from, Miami and I just had to see you guys because X, Y, or Z, whatever. Do you have any cool stories like that?
Yeah. There's been a few people have said, they've driven hours to see us. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Like that makes me feel really good. Or even something really cool at Rock Fest. Like it's not a Christian fest, obviously. And so we've had people come up to us or come up to me and just share their heart and their struggles and like ask for prayer, which is really cool. I mean, I love that, especially being at a non-Christian event and people are just still comfortable to share their heart. And that happens a lot. And that's happened at Rockfest, interesting enough, a lot. And then, I've gotten to pray with people and then, they've followed up even on Facebook and said, hey, this is what happened with my situation. And so that's pretty cool too, to have that sort of thing. But, fans are great. Or I've shared my story like at the fest. I think it was Roll Fest last year. I got to share my kind of like different events in my life and different years and and what I've been through. And I had a woman come up to me there and they're like, a lot of people don't understand that these things happen. And they're like, I've been through the same thing, the same struggles. And I got to talk to them about it. And so that's pretty cool. I like those kind of things and just talking to people.
What do you primarily use for inspiration for writing songs? Is it something just different? Is it life experience? Is it stories you may have heard from people? What is it? Just being in deep contemplative prayer with God and gives you a message? Like, where do you find that is the best way for you to kind of figure out writing songs?
Yeah. Well, a lot of it is through my experiences, like what I've been through. I guess, like Monster You Made is about some people that have betrayed me and how angry I was. And so it was kind of like a good way to get out that anger and in an artistic way. And so, most of it is through what I've been through, my experiences. Remnant actually came to mind when I was talking to my pastor, and he said, he was just talking about the Remnant, and I'm like, oh wow, that would be a cool song. And then I just started thinking, and we were in the car driving on vacation, actually with my family, and for some reason a melody just started popping in my head about Remnant and just some things that were going on in 2020 and all that. And so sometimes it's something that someone says or that I'm with, or a pastor, or someone just says a word and like, oh wow, it just kind of triggers something, or God sparks an idea. But a lot is through experiences and what I've dealt with.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, cause, usually, people find inspiration from all different places, but I've actually talked to a lot of people in music that I got a routine. I go away. I go away from everybody else. I go to a cabin in the woods and I just sit there and I just, things just come to me, whatever. And I'm like, that sounds really processed. Like I would rather I'm just like, I'm the more of the inspiration kind of guy. Like, hey, give me like, what am I inspired by? You know what I mean? To me, that sounds too like that. There's too much pressure, I think. But like, I would find it like, okay, I'm going away for a week. I'm going to write a whole album or 5 or 6 songs, whatever, and I'm going to come back. Like, that'd be like way too much pressure. So there's people that do that. They're like, hey, I'm going to go and I'll be with God, and God will give me the messages I need to write down in the songs and whatever. And other people are just like, they want to collaborate. They're like, hey, let's kick around some ideas for a song. Let's do it as a team or whatever. So I'm always fascinated to find out what people's process of writing the songs are.
Yeah, definitely. And then, I mean, too, we co-write with people too. So sometimes people will say, I have this idea, you know, that sort of thing. And one time, I had like a dream, like right before I woke up, there was like a melody in my head and it kept like ruminating. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I ran downstairs to record it because I think I left my phone downstairs or something. I don't know. I don't remember why, but I just started running downstairs and my husband's like, what is she doing? And so I recorded it right away. So, cause I knew I would forget it, but sometimes you just get a melody, or I'll get a melody in a dream, and that's only happened like once or twice.
Right. Did you ever I'm not sure if you've ever seen Seinfeld, but like, I wonder if like I know musicians have to go through this. They hear something in a dream and they hurry up and record it before they forget about it, and then they go back to bed. But it reminds me of the Seinfeld episode where he had this joke of flaming lows of Sigmund, and he thought he woke up hysterical, and he wrote it down, the joke, and then he couldn't read his own writing of the joke. And then when he finally figured it out, he was like, that wasn't funny at all. So it's like the musicians doing the same thing. Like, I got a great song. So they go down and they'll record it or put it together, and they'll go back to sleep, wake up. They're like, what was I thinking? That's not good at all.
Right. That's horrible.
Right.
Why'd I do that?
I mean, who knows? I mean, just so many fucking things happen when you're, with a writer or a creative person, whatever.
True. It is true.
All right. Hey, well, I usually like to close in prayer. Do you mind if I give a little blessing here and close things out?
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Father God. Thank you so much for the time together with Jennifer here. And thank you for being with her throughout her trials and tribulations, especially with the custody of her daughter. And I know, boy, oh my gosh, that put her through the ringer with that, with almost 3 times losing her daughter. But you were victorious for her and for her daughter. And thank you for guiding her to where she needed to be, into the church with her friend. And now she is being an inspiration to her child, as well as band members, and as well as people who are listening to the music and read the lyrics of her songs. Lord, please bless all her endeavors coming up with the Rock Fest and her new album coming out and a new video coming out. May millions of people get to hear this music, Lord, and be inspired by it, and praying that her career just continues to take off and be blessed as you see fit to bless it. Your will be done, Lord. Please continue to inspire her with her songwriting, so that it may inspire other people as well who listen to the music. We ask for all this in the mighty name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Jennifer. Is there anything else you want to plug real quickly before we head on out?
Just follow us on Bands in Town under Ignescent. Check out ignescentmusic.com/tour, the tour tab, just for some upcoming tour dates. And check out our album Fightin' Me by Ignescent on Spotify. The new one, like I said, will be coming out hopefully August, September. I'm not exactly sure, and some singles, so check out there. And just follow us on Ignescent Music Instagram, Ignescent Music Facebook, and that's it, really.
We'll include all the links in the post here, so make sure you check all that out. Follow her, and if you liked this interview, which I hope you did, because I liked it, please follow, subscribe, whatever you need to do, wherever you're on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. Just join in so you can get notifications for upcoming shows, and share it with everybody you know, because that's how the word spreads, and that's how other people can get inspired by these stories. So once again, I'm Michael Kadri, and that is Jennifer Benson, and we will see you next time on Rock Your Faith Out. Yeah. Rock your faith.